It was a cold October night in Hollow Creek, Oregon. The small town was surrounded by thick pine forests and old wooden farmhouses. Most people in this town had lived here their whole lives. Everyone knew everyone. It was the kind of place where doors were never locked and neighbors always helped each other. But lately, something had changed. A strange feeling hung in the air like fog that never lifted. Dogs barked at nothing in the middle of the night. Children refused to play outside after sunset. Old-timers whispered about something evil that had awakened in the woods surrounding the town. Ryan Thompson and his wife Sarah had moved to Hollow Creek just 3 months ago. Ryan was a carpenter and Sarah was a school teacher. They had bought an old farmhouse on Miller Road for a great price and thought they had found their dream home. The house was big, surrounded by tall pine trees, with a wide front porch and a beautiful view of the valley. Their neighbors Tom Harris, Bill Cooper, and Martha Jenkins had welcomed them warmly. Everything seemed perfect, but that was before the nights started getting strange. It was 2:47 in the morning when Sarah suddenly woke up. Her eyes shot open and her heart was pounding. She lay still for a moment, trying to understand what had woken her. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Heavy, slow, deliberate footsteps coming from directly above her on the roof. She grabbed Ryan's arm and shook him hard. Ryan opened his eyes, confused and half asleep. But before he could say a word, he heard it too. Thud, thud, thud. Something was walking on their roof at 3 in the morning. Sarah's voice was trembling as she whispered that someone was up there. Ryan told her to stay calm and got out of bed slowly. He grabbed his flashlight from the nightstand and walked carefully toward the front door to check if it was locked. When Ryan reached the front door, his stomach dropped. The door was unlocked. He was certain he had locked it before going to bed, cackling into the swamp night as his magnificent mustache trembled with villainous joy. That very evening, without any weather warning whatsoever, a violent thunderstorm unleashed itself over Savannah and hammered down on River Street, flooded the famous squares, and filled every ditch, pothole, flower pot, and low-lying corner of the entire city with standing water. While Tails ran an urgent scan on his instruments and confirmed with dread that the storm clouds were entirely artificial and externally generated, which meant Sonic needed exactly 1 second to figure out who was behind it all. That night, while all of Savannah slept peacefully and unsuspectingly, Eggman and Orbit floated silently through the darkened city streets in mosquito ghost form, drifting hungrily toward Green Hills Farm. But Blaze sensed them coming before they even reached the barn door and let out a massive panicked moo that jolted Tails awake at his computer terminal instantly. And by the time Eggman and Orbit had shrunk themselves into tiny mosquito form and landed smugly on Blaze's hide, Sonic was already standing in the barn with a flashlight, scanning every inch of the stall with sharp, focused eyes until he spotted them. And then one supersonic finger snap later, both mosquitoes went flying out the barn window and crash-landed in Forsyth Park, dazed, defeated, and profoundly embarrassed. Lying flat on the Forsyth Park grass and staring up at the Savannah stars, Eggman made a furious decision that there would be no more sneaking and no more small attacks, because his mosquito robots were already hatching in every puddle across the city, and by morning there would be millions of them swarming everywhere. And indeed, when dawn broke over Savannah the very next day, the city woke up to absolute chaos, with mosquitoes blanketing River Street, filling the air above the historic district, driving tourists from the waterfront, shutting down restaurants on Broughton Street, and hitting every usual spot. His back against her headstone, talking to her quietly the way he always did, telling her about his day, what books had come in, what the weather had been like, the small, ordinary things he would have told her over dinner if she had still been alive. He was in the middle of a sentence when he heard it. A sound from the far end of the cemetery. A low, rhythmic sound like someone breathing slowly and deliberately. Marcus stopped talking and listened. The sound continued for a moment, then stopped. Marcus sat very still for a long time. Then he told himself it was an animal. A dog that had gotten in through the fence. He finished his visit and went home and told himself it was nothing. The second night the sound was closer. Not breathing this time. Footsteps. Slow and deliberate, moving somewhere in the dark between the headstones. Marcus stood up and looked around. The cemetery was dark with only the pale moonlight picking out the shapes of the stones. He could see nothing moving. but he could hear it. Footsteps moving slowly through the rows, getting closer, then stopping, then silence. Marcus waited for 10 minutes without moving. Nothing. He went home and told himself it was nothing. The third night, he brought a flashlight. He sat at Sarah's grave as usual and waited. At 12:30, the sound started again. Footsteps. He turned on the flashlight and swept it across the cemetery. The beam moved over headstones and grass and the dark shapes of trees. Nothing. But the footsteps continued even while he was looking. Something was moving in the cemetery that his flashlight could not find. Marcus stood up. "Who's there?" he said loudly. His voice sounded strange in the complete silence of the cemetery. No echo. The sound absorbed immediately by the dark. The footsteps stopped. Silence. Then from somewhere very close, maybe 10 feet away, a voice said his name. Marcus. Marcus Cole had not been truly frightened of anything since the night of the accident. "After you," he had mentioned to help her. She went to the closet. She returned with the garment bag. The woman's eyes lit up in a way that sent ice through Cassie's veins. She snatched the bag and clutched it to her chest. "Perfect. Now you go lie down. I'll be right outside watching over your dreams." A low laugh. "Don't worry about any bad dreams tonight. I'll be here." After midnight, Cassie began to dream. She stood in a field, completely dark, no stars. Her arms cradled an infant. Across the darkness, that figure from Dorothy's photograph loomed enormous before her, its eyes glowing like two hot coals. It reached out a hand. It took the baby and disappeared into the dark. Cassie screamed herself awake, soaked in sweat, heart slamming. Then the pain hit, sharp, twisting, low in her abdomen. "Mabel? Mabel?" No answer. Front door unlocked. Hallway empty. The woman was gone. Cassie called Janet with shaking hands. Janet was at the door in under 3 minutes. "Hospital right now." "No. Listen to me first." Cassie gripped her arm. She told Janet everything. The photograph from Dorothy, the sour mill, the crying cats, the woman who came at 11 p.m. and took the wedding dress, the nightmare, the pain. Janet's face went through confusion, then recognition, then fury. "Dorothy Vance." She exhaled slowly. "That photograph is not a guardian, Cassie. It's a curse object, an anchor for dark energy, bound to you and your pregnancy. And that woman tonight was sent by Dorothy. She used your wedding dress to finish the ritual. Janet, my baby, is going to be fine." Janet stood up. "Show me the photograph." She crossed the apartment and pulled it off the wall without hesitation. The moment she touched it, Cassie gasped with another sharp wave of pain. Janet didn't stop. She walked to the back door, stepped outside, set the photograph on the concrete, and lit a match. The paper caught fast, burned bright and orange, and Cassie's pain disappeared. Completely. Instantly. It's
exactly right and slightly wrong at the same time. For 7 years. Every single night. "I didn't know what else to do," Marcus said. His voice came out barely above a whisper. "I know," she said. "I know, Marcus." "Are you really here?" he asked. She was quiet for a moment. "I don't know exactly what here means for me anymore," she said honestly. "But I am something. I am something that is standing in front of you." Marcus looked at her for a long time. "Did it hurt?" he finally asked. "The accident. Did it hurt?" Sarah shook her head slowly. "No," she said. "It was very fast. And then it was over. And then I was here." "Were you here the whole time?" Marcus asked. "All 7 years." "Not the whole time," she said. "But I came back. When I felt you here every night, I came back." Marcus put his face in his hands. He was not crying. He was doing something beyond crying. Some deep internal shaking that had no outward expression. When he looked up in the pale moonlight, watching him go. She raised one hand slightly. He had, telling her the small, ordinary things, and the cemetery was quiet.
Home that morning, my tiny baby, alone. I decided, since these people made me suffer for my child, I would make them suffer for theirs. Ms. Parker listened quietly, then said, "You have a mother's heart. Look at these children bleeding. If your baby were here, what would you want someone to do? Just like your child needs you. Every one of these kids needs their parents." The witch stared at the crying children. Something shifted. "You're right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for understanding. I think it's time to go." "Wait, witch lady. Before you go, can you show us how the airplane works?" The witch laughed softly. She gave them the most amazing aerial tour they'd ever imagined. All the children cheered. Then she disappeared, at peace. 5. The Bathing Witch of Maplewood. Maplewood Village, Tennessee was old-fashioned. No bathrooms, no proper roads, while every neighboring town had modernized. Every morning, the village women bathed in the river. 5 or 6 women were there one day. Where's Vera today? Sleeping, probably. That girl sleeps like the dead. I really don't like bathing out in the open like this. Me neither. But what can we do? A crow flew over and dropped something on Grace's head. Everyone burst out laughing. That's exactly why I hate bathing outside. Meanwhile, 2 town troublemakers, Nate and Dale, were hiding behind bushes, spying. "Look at these women, man. Let's get closer." They moved forward, and the women spotted them. Sarah grabbed a bucket and smashed it over Nate's head. "Shameless. Disgusting. We're reporting you." The women chased them. Dale grabbed Mandy's wrist. "You want to bathe outside? This is what happens. Stop complaining." Nate pulled out a knife toward Grace's throat. Suddenly the sky turned dark. A storm rolled in, and in a whirlwind, a witch arrived, killed both men in an instant, and vanished. The women were confused. Who was this witch? The next day, Mandy told her husband, Mayor Steve. "Those men,